Okay, we moved inside. Now we're going to tell you a little bit about the inside. Right here we have a fire extinguisher. And it is by the door because they want you to grab it as you're running out the door. Now seriously, if you have small fire, of course put it out. If it's a big fire, you might want to just get out as quick as you can, because you have about 1 second of put out power per poundage of fire extinguisher. So that might be a couple pounds, so you might have a couple seconds of put out power. So just remember that, and it does have a little gauge on it to tell you if it's charged or not. Right here you have a switch, lights to get you in the door. You have the switch for the awning, extend and retract, and basically when you're going to extend it, you're going to push the button, it's going to go out, keep it pushed till it goes all the way out, and then you're going to retract it the same way, keep it pushed till it comes in and stops. You have your TV and instrument board here. This remote is for that TV, but we'll talk a little about this. You have step lights outside under the step. You have a security light on one side, security light on the other side. You have inside speakers on and off. You have a subwoofer right here, on and off. Outside speakers I showed you, on and off. Hour meter for your generator, tells you how many hours it's run. So for every month you own it, remember, 2 hours. You have a gauge that tells you how much is in the tank for the generator. You have a way to start the generator in here. Push it down just like the one outside. The light's going to come on, and then you can push the start button and the generator starts. To stop it, just push it down, push stop, and it's off. You have a panel here. This test, you press test, and if you notice, freshwater tank's empty because we're winterized. All the tanks are empty because we're winterized, but our battery is fully charged. It's a new battery, plus we're plugged in. So every time when we're plugged in, the unit is getting a charge. The battery is getting a charge through the converter. So remember, I showed you the converter. It's in the basement, that thing hanging on the side. If you're ever having trouble with the charging system, go check those fuses. You have a button here called the pump. That is for your water pump. Now, let's say we're primitive camping. We've filled up our fresh water, our potable water tanks. We've parked the unit, we've leveled it, we've put the rooms out. Now we want to come inside. We would turn the pump switch on, and don't mess with that switch again, because the only time the pump will run is when we open a valve, a water valve. It'll pressurize the system, push water out, but when we close that valve, it will turn off. So you don't have to keep turning that on, turning that off. You have your stereo here. The stereo is an AM/FM, CD, DVD player, and if you wanted to put a DVD in there or a CD, that's where you would put it in right there. This is a removable face, and there's a little black thing in there that'll tell you how to do it, and the way to do that would be to press the let's see here. Oh, my finger's bleeding. Let's see here. I think it says that was it. But anyways, there's a way to get that face off there and take it with you, because the stereo is no good to anybody without that face on there. Now, there is paperwork on every single thing in this unit. So how to get that face off, it'll tell you on the radio paperwork. Something on the TV, something on the microwave, everything. But in that paperwork, you also have warranty cards. You have 10 to 14 days after you receive the unit to fill those out and send them in. So make sure you do that in the paperwork. The last thing we'll talk about in this area right here is the fuse box. This is your 110 breakers. You have a 50 amp main, and then breakers for everything else. But you also have a 12 volt side in here. Now that converter outside that I showed you works this side. So you have little red dots next to each one of these fuses. If you ever see one of those red dots light up, that fuse next to it's bad. So remember that. But you also have two 30 amp main fuses for the rest of the 12 volt side. So like the 50 amp main breakers, you have two 30 amp main fuses. So keep that in mind also. Back here we have a microwave just like any other microwave. There's really no difference in this microwave or the one you might have at home. Now, we've parked the unit, we've leveled it, we put the rooms out. First thing I want you to do is turn on the valves at the LP tanks. Then, before you try to turn anything on gas, I want you to purge the system of air. Turning it to light, and then this, you turn it to the right. Now, if you notice, nothing's lighting yet. That's because we had air in the system. By purging it, we're getting rid of that air. All LP tanks have 80% gas, 20% air. So when it sits for a while, the gas is heavier than air. The gas settles to the bottom, pushing the air to the top where the valves are. We have to get rid of that so everything ignites properly. And that's what we did by lighting this one burner. And you don't have to light it and leave it lit as long as I did. But just let it light, have it lit for a couple seconds, turn it off, and you have purged the system of air. Now, to light the oven, you don't have a sparker. We're going to give you a stick lighter. You have to turn this button to pilot. Now, this screw right underneath in the back, with this button pushed in, I'm going to give you a stick lighter. You're going to light the pilot light that's in the back there. When that pilot light lit, you have to keep this pushed in for an additional 20 seconds. Once that 20 seconds is over, you can let that go. That pilot light should stay lit. Then you can turn it to the temperature you want. Now, if you're cooking, totally safe to just leave that on pilot if you want it, because you're going to be reusing it. But when you're done, turn it off, because we have all these other safeties that'll tell you if you have a gas leak. This right here is an LP detector. If you had a leak in your LP system, that would start buzzing as loud as it can be. It forces you to get out and go and turn off the LP tanks. So that is hardwired into your fuse box. So as long as you have a good battery and you're plugged in, and this is pulled open, that's your battery disconnect, you have power to that LP detector. There are no batteries for it other than the 12-volt battery up front. So, unlike the smoke detector and the carbon monoxide detector that's in the bedroom on the wall, and I'll show you that in a minute, those are battery driven. You do need to change them a couple times a year, just like at home. Now, this right here is your battery disconnect. And what it does is when you park this thing in the yard for a while, different things use 12-volt power. So you may want to push that in. It kills all 12-volt power, so nothing runs the battery down. With that on, though, you park it in the yard. The LP detector, the radio, and let's see here. And that's about it. It's going to be drawing power and killing your battery. So keep that in mind, and your battery won't get discharged as it sits in the yard. You have a switch right there on the wall for your fan here. This is 100. You got to be plugged in for any of this to work right here. Come back here, you have a light right here for over that. But we have our refrigerator. Refrigerator's great because it works off electric or gas. Now we're plugged in, so we know we have electric. We've turned our gas on, and we've purged the system of air, so we know we have gas also. So we turn it on, and the auto light comes on. That means, that's what I would always keep it on, because if it senses electric and gas, it'll pick electric all day. It wants to run on electric, and you notice it just jumped over to AC, so it's running on electric. The refrigerator wants to run on electric. So if there was a storm, knock the power out, it would automatically jump to gas and keep running just as efficiently. When the power came out gone, it would automatically jump back over to electric. And you notice this would light up if it's running on gas, but it's running on AC right now, so that's why that's lit. Now, the check light. The check light is for the gas system. Now, the water heater and the refrigerator work very similar. On gas, they will try to light 3 times. After the 3rd time, if they do not light, a check light will come on. The one on the water heater doesn't say check, but it's a red light. But on this, if it tried to light 3 times, it couldn't light. This light would come on, and it's basically saying, hey, I tried to light, I couldn't, now I'm in lockout mode. To get it out of lockout, you have to turn it off. wait 10 seconds and turn it back on. It resets itself and it will try to light 3 more times and go on down the line. But if it hasn't lit and you'd have purge the system of air, you may want to check and see if maybe you have run out of gas or something, because by purging the system of air, it almost assures that the water or that the refrigerator is going to light on gas. The furnace and the water heater use a ton of gas. They would probably purge themselves. The refrigerator just wouldn't. It uses a little bitty pilot light if it has to run on gas, and it would go to check every single time. So it's very important that you purge the system of air before you ever even thought of having this thing run on gas. Now, you have a 3 to 5 degree temperature change you can make on this unit by sliding this up and down. Coldest spot in the refrigerator is right here. So we pretend like there's a little arrow right here in the center. Slide it up and down to make a 3 to 5 degree temperature change, and you'll have to decide if you need to wherever, depending on where you're going. Now, let's say you've camped all week, you're driving home, the refrigerator is stayed on because you kept it loaded of food. As soon as I unplug it, of course, it's going to jump to gas. We could hook the truck up and take off running with the refrigerator still working. But let's say you get home, you unload it, you turn it off. Now, if I was to shut it and it was cold, when I go to use it in 2 weeks, it's going to be molded and smelly. So they made these little things, one for each door. I'm going to show you how one works. Now, this is plastic. This is plastic, so just be careful. You want to push that out, put it in there, bring it down, make sure it pops over that. Push it in there, and then it leaves it to where air can get in there, and it can warm up and get a little air in there so it doesn't mold and smell. Great little thing to have. Just remember, this is plastic, so when you're done with it, pop it up, pull it up, store it right in there. Like I said, we have one for the freezer also, right there. So, just remember you have all that. Right in here is where we have all that paperwork that I was telling you about, and tells you a little bit about everything that's in this unit. But you also have a warranty card, so make sure that you fill that out. This right here has a remote control for basically everything almost. So you can actually work the you can run the rooms in and out, you can run the stabilizer, the front landing gear up and down, the stabilizers in and out, the awning in and out. You have a security light right here that only works with this button, and to do that you would turn it on and hit the rooms in, hit the rooms out, and that's how that works. So this little remote, we'll keep it right here for you. This is the cover or the thing that for your radio. Keep it in if you wanted to. This, I told you, for that cold water, cold and hot water valve out in the area where the city water is. This is the quick disconnect piece that can go in there. But you'll also have another one that you can put a sprayer on that'll hook onto there. And just a bunch of other paperwork in here. You have some pins here, and since we're going back there, I'll show you. We'll go back into the garage. These pins, you have one for each side. Here, here, and on the back side. Each one of these white rails has holes. You can see them right here. Now, let's say I was wanting to eat. This is the bed. 2 beds that'll come up and down. Now, let's say I was wanting to sit down and eat. You have a table here. Well, we've got to keep this bed up. So you put one pin in that hole, go around to each corner and pin it up. And when you run that down with this button right here, as you can see, it's gonna, the top one would stay where it's at, bringing this second bed right here down all the way. Now, before you ran it all the way down, you pull these legs down, and basically when it got down there, the legs would hit, the bed would continue to come down, and it would pick the table up on its own so you could sit down and eat. Great little system there. We'll run it down so you can kind of see. Plus we have a table up here. Now before I run it down, you notice you have an emergency exit there. place right there in the floor that you can put all your oils, maybe your tie downs, whatever. You have some bench seats here for the bar. You have a carpet there that covers this area right here. The silver ladder goes outside on the driver's side. Make sure you use the pins when you put it up, and it's kind of self-explanatory how to get it up there. You hook it on the top. You see the two hooks up there, hooks up, and then there's 4 posts that push in. Make sure that the pins go in there before you try to climb up. But you also have 2 black ladders. One for here, one for inside to get up into the bed that's up there that we'll show you here in a little bit. And then you have a seat, and you notice there they do have it tied down when we're traveling. So we'll run this all the way down. Now we're really not going to run it down because I have all kinds of stuff under here. But the reason I did that to show you, you do have a table there. And the table can go, it goes to the inside, but we leave it there because that's where it travels the best. You have a fantastic fan up there. That controller right there on the wall is what works that. You make sure you put the fan, turn the button on fan, and then you would raise the lid, and when the lid gets up far enough, the fan will turn on by itself. When you lower it, it'll turn off by itself. This white bag right here, I'm sure you know that there's a way that you can put the back door down, and you have some cables that go up and hold the door flat to where you can walk out and kind of have a little patio. But you have kind of like a little, I call it a playpen, that you have bars that go up and it goes around and kind of keeps it, if you had kids or whatever, it keeps them in there. We can't set that up because of where we're parked, but that's what that is, and it's really easy to put up. These are the light. One's a light for here, one's a light for outside this door right here. And then we're going to run this up when you're traveling. You want to make sure that you run this bed up because it holds that table where it needs to be. That way it doesn't jump around. Okay, we'll go here. You have a TV here. You have a remote control there. You have a little refrigerator there that only works on 110, so you have to be plugged in for that refrigerator to work. Place for heat through your furnace. And then you have a bathroom back here. It's just basically a toilet and a sink. We'll show you how to operate the toilet because they're the same exact toilets when we get to the upstairs. It's a little easier to get in there rather than working our way around this chair. But you have another door that'll take you out into the living room too, so it's kind of like a pass-through door. So that's pretty nice. You do have 2 vents, one here, one on that corner over there, and they'll open either way for you. You can push it this way, it'll open, or you can push it that way and it'll open. That one works the exact same way, just so you do know that. I think that's about it back here, and we'll move to the inside. Talk a little more. Your ground fault plug right here. Remember, all your wet areas, kitchen, bathroom, outside, are all on the same ground fault plug. And you do have a switch right here for the light that just was above us. You do have a bed area up there. Remember I showed you to have 2 black ladders, one to get up here, one for in there to get on that top bunk. Come around here, and you also can put the ladder here or whatever. You have a thermostat, pretty self-explanatory. It is digital, so it tells you how warm it is in here right now, and it also has an up and down for setting the temperatures you want it to be on. You have cooler, heat, auto for your fan modes, auto or on, high and low. Pretty self-explanatory. That's the pass-through for the bathroom. The slides are great because they make the room huge, but remember, you have a place you can put a TV up, or put the table up. Remember, that table can't be there when you run this room in because it's hydraulic and it's going to break just about everything. So, we got right here, this opens up, and in here we have a bunch of stuff. We have your legs, and we have a screen that'll go up in the back, and it's held up with, it goes up with Velcro that you have right there. and it can't be up when it's when you're traveling. So that's why they have it here. It's brand new. So you push that shut, and it does have a place here that has straps, and with the place to snap it down to keep them in when you're traveling. This also opens. Has the same thing though, so you can strap them down when traveling so they don't open. That one does the same thing. You have day-night shades. Basically in the center, push up. It's basically in the center, push down, and then you have a night shade. All of them have the same there too. You have a little switch right there that Chris will turn on for me, and that turns these lights on. But if you want these lights on right there, there's a little black button right there for you to turn on. Basically, you will only get heat out of the floor. These white ducts right here, you'll get air condition and fan out of those. The heat and the air conditioner do not intermix. So remember, heat out of the floor, air and fan out of the ceiling. Let's say you had the air conditioner on and you've been cooking, it's 100 degrees out and it got a little warm in here. So you have a way that you can cool this area down quickly by opening. You have 3 areas here, and it has a little thing that sticks down. You can push that and push all 3 of them, and it dumps 85% of the air out in this area right here that the air conditioner creates, cooling this area off quickly. But what you have to remember is when it's cool enough, you got to shut those so the air conditioner goes through to the rest of the trailer. Something you need to remember because they warm up quickly. Up there you have a place that you could actually put a TV if you want. You got coaxial and you've got a plug. And I think you have speakers in the ceilings, and you can turn them on and off through the radio, and like I said, there's paperwork for that. So we'll go up into the bedroom. Now, I did mistakenly tell you you may have 2 air conditioners. You don't, but you do have, it's prepped for a second one. So if you ever wanted to add it, you have 120 volts already run here, and then you could take this off, add the air conditioner here, and you could put a roof mount control here, make it pretty easy. It's pretty easy installation, but I mistakenly told you that there may be 2. You only have 1 air conditioner, but this is where the second one could go. Right over there's your carbon monoxide detector. Right here's the antenna for your local free TV. So we wind it, it goes up. You can pull this down when it's up, and you can turn it almost 360 degrees. But when you go to put it down, the 2 triangles, right, this one and this one, have to line up. When you put it down, the antenna falls into a bracket that's up on the roof, so it doesn't slide around as you're traveling. You have your shower, which is pretty nice. Place for a TV, coaxial cable and hookup. Your vanity. But this over here, this is another thing. See that little green light? Got a little black button there. With your local free TV, with the antenna up and that black button pushed in, the green light on, wherever you go, you scan for new channels for your local free TV, it'll pick up a ton of channels. Now, with that on, if you tried to hook up satellite or cable, you're going to get a distorted picture. So if you're hooked up to satellite or cable, that has to be off. You only have that on if it's local free TV that you're wanting to pick up. So that also uses 12 volt power. So you park it in the yard and that's on, that's wearing your battery down. Make sure it's off, or just make sure your battery disconnects it off. Now this is a 12 volt power point right there. It's like a cigarette lighter for you to charge your cell phone or whatever. You have a place right here. You have, looks to me like it's the mattress. You have a blow up mattress that you can set up in the living room. You have a closet in here with a light right here on the wall for you. So that's pretty nice. You do have an emergency exit right here for you to get out up here. Just just like that, but it's also a usable window if you want, because it has a screen. To get out, you'd rip the screen out, push that, and don't go out head first because it's pretty high. To shut it, you just shut it, push it in there. Drawers, cabinets. But we have a bathroom here. Now, bathroom's pretty self-explanatory, really. You have a light, okay? You have a fan here, switch here that manually operates it, manually puts the vent up and down. You have a toilet here. Now, the toilet's pretty simple operation. You have a foot pedal here. If you push it halfway down and the flapper doesn't open, it puts more water into the bowl. Push it all the way down, it flushes it. When I let up on that pedal, though, it's going to let a little bit of water keep on going and fill up maybe about an inch or two in there. It keeps the smell from coming up through the black tank. That's supposed to do that. That little black seal you see right there keeps the water in there, and it keeps that smell from coming through. So that's a pretty nice deal there. This switch right here is for your gas side of your water heater. Now, like the refrigerator, remember it has a check light. Well, this has a red light that says reset. Turn it on, the light comes on. This will try to light 3 times, and each time the light's going to go off when it tries to light. If it doesn't light, the light will come back on. It'll do that 3 times. After the 3rd time, this light will come on, stay on. It's in a lockout mode. To get it out of lockout, you would, now it lit, so it's not going to come on because I can hear it. But let's say it did that 3 times and it came on. To get it out of lockout, just like the refrigerator, you turn it off, count to 10, turn it back on. It resets itself and it will try to light 3 more times. We'll leave it off because there's nothing in there. We're not using it. So we come out here and well, you have a little pocket door here for privacy for your bedroom and everything. And I think we've told you basically almost everything I can think of about the unit. Hopefully it was informative to you and we helped you out a little bit, but it's a big unit. We don't expect you're going to know everything about it. So feel free to call us, call your advisor. If he or she can't answer your questions, they'll get one of us on the phone that can help you. And remember, we appreciate your business, so feel free to call if you need it. Thanks for buying with Holman Motors, and we look to see you in the future. Thank you.